Hello and welcome to the channel where we talk about all things card games and chill with friends. My name is Liam and today I want to talk about 5 new mechanics that could come to the Hololive official card game. Now, if you are new to the channel, please consider hitting that subscribe button, and if you enjoyed this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials, links in the description, and consider supporting the channel by hitting that join button and becoming a member. But let's jump into the video. So now that we've had 3 sets for the Hololive OCG in Japanese, and obviously we're getting it in English as well, and the 4th set is just on the horizon for the Japanese game, I had some ideas for some potential new mechanics that could help elevate the game to a point where it adds stuff that will really drive the competitive scene, as well as just spicing up gameplay just a little bit. Now, one thing we all say when we try and introduce someone into the Hololive official card game is that, oh, this card game is very similar to the Pokemon trading card game with elements of One Piece. And whilst that is very, very true, I definitely think there are rooms for opportunities whereby there are more mechanics that could be taken from those games and brought into this game, and also some brand new mechanics just to make it stand out a little bit more and give it that title of that Pokemon TCG Plus that I've heard go around the community. Now, these are all theoretical and they aren't confirmed by any means, but I've had a play around and I really like these ideas. So we're going to go through them. I've got 5 to share with you, and let me know in the comments below, do you like these ideas? Do you think these ideas and these new mechanics could add something extra to the Hololive card game? Or do you think I'm stretching the boat out a bit too far and potentially causing room for more distress within the game? Or do you have your own ideas? I want to hear what you think could come to the Hololive official card game. Let me know your mechanic ideas in the comments below. But let's jump into the first one, which is stage supports. Now, we know that supports have different types, so we already have mascots, fans, events, items, and tools. But another one that I think could be utilized is a stage support. Now, the idea behind this would that it would be very similar to a stadium when you look at the Pokemon trading card game, and where you play one and it affects both players and it's like a continuous spell. It would require a dedicated stage zone on the playfield, so that would be something that would have to be created to make this happen. But the idea would be that you play this stage and it benefits cards in certain ways. For example, your song tag holomems gain plus 10 power, or your shooter tag holomems get an additional 10 damage when dealing special damage to the backstage, something like that. It could also be where you have a specific stage for a specific gen, where, I don't know, your gen 5 holomems gets plus 10 HP. It could go for any tag. It could go for a named holomem. For example, you could have, say, a circus tent and have it specifically for Amaru Polka. You could even do it where it gives traits out to certain names to help activate other cards. For example, we have certain units. Taking one, for example, that I'm pulling off the top of my head, Start End, which we know isn't going to happen now that Aqua has graduated. But it could be a stage where all of your Suisei, Towa, and Aquas gain the Start End tag, and then that enables certain effects to occur based on that Start End tag. There's a lot of opportunities here. So what do you think? I think it's a kind of cool idea. It works well in Pokemon, and I think it could do very well in the Hololive OCG. Another support type that we could see introduced is the song support. Obviously, we know that Hololive talents are fantastic at singing, and they tend to release a lot of songs. So why not use that, especially for songs where it has multiple members? Example, you could have a song like here designed by Ashino Megami for Towa called Palette, where she gains a certain effect based upon that card. And it's kind of similar to mascots, or to fans more specifically, I guess, whereby you can only play it if this certain holomem is on the stage, and then you get the effect based upon that. So there's all sorts of things you can do here. Then you have certain effects whereby it searches for, or gets from your archive, these song support cards. Like you're able to reveal a fan with the First Bloom Idol or Polka. You could have a card that lets you search for a song. You could have a card that lets you get a song from your archive. There's lots you can do here, and you can add tags to those, like we've seen with tools, like we have seen with mascots, where certain cards, especially looking at Fubuki, her mascots have the Shirakami ban or something, Shirakami character tag on that card. So you could do similar things with this. Again, it's another opportunity to explore a different type of support, which would fit in extremely well with the whole theming of the Hololive OCG. Moving away from support, I now want to look at cheers. Now, obviously we have got the 6 colored cheers from white, red, green, blue, purple, and yellow. But one thing that I think the game could benefit from is special cheers. Now, one example of this could be the dual color special cheer, whereby when it is attached to a holomem, it is classed as either one color or the other. The downside to these special cheers would be that in your cheer deck, you can only contain up to 4 special cheers. So you can only have a playset of those special cheers in your cheer deck, no matter how you build it. But they would then just class as ordinary cheers. What do you think to that? It gives some more flexibility for decks that require multiple different colored cheers for their holomems. However, the important thing to realize would be, for example, with the likes of Rainair, these cheers only count as one cheer at a time, so they wouldn't class as both colors to help prop the second bloom Rainair. You would choose whether it is red or blue, and you would classify that as you go to use it. But the thing would be that once it's attached, if, for example, you need, I don't know, a red, a blue, and a yellow cheer on your holomem to do what you need to do, and you have a dual color cheer that is red and yellow, you could say, get a blue on there, cool, you've got 2 cheers where it's a yellow and then a red or a blue. And then you go, okay, I've now got a blue cheer, I'm going to attach that, and I'm going to turn that one that could be red or blue and go, okay, this is now red. But then later on, you could detach that blue cheer and then attach a red cheer and go, okay, I'm going to change this from red to blue. So it's only at the point where you go to use the art whereby it actually checks what color you're allocating that special cheer. I think this would allow for some really interesting deck building for non-monocolor decks. And not only that as well, I think it could be quite interesting in terms of just really livening up how deck building can happen, especially for the main deck. So yeah, and I think there are certain decks as well where multiple colors can cause massive issues for a deck, and I think these special cheers would help elevate them to make them more consistent and therefore actually perform better in the competitive play. The next thing I want to discuss, I'm going to be moving on to 2 new mechanics. So obviously we've got collab effects, we have bloom effects, and we have gifts. Now, I think there is room for 2 more different type effects. The first one is going to be a play effect. Now, these would be allocated to debut or spot holomems, whereby when you play them from your hand, you get the effect. Pretty straightforward. Now, obviously, with the amount of debuts you might be running in your deck, this could be abused quite a lot. So, I think the important things with these play effects is that they must be net zero. For example, when you play a debut, choose one of the cheers attached to one of your holomems, put that back into your cheer deck, choose a cheer in your cheer deck and attach it to the same holomem. So basically a cheer swap. So you're not actually gaining anything in terms of, you're not plussing one to hand, you're not adding an additional cheer, you are simply swapping a cheer. Another one would be on play, draw 1, discard 1. Again, you are thinning out your deck, you are doing a bit of hand manipulation, but you're not actually gaining anything. You're not gaining a resource. Another one could be on play, go to your holo power, add a card from your holo power to your hand, put a card from hand into your holo power. We've seen that with Iris on a Hololive effect. Again, why can't it be a just plain net zero effect on a debut or on a spot? So again, I think this would be really interesting, because not only have you got to consider, you know, what sort of net zero effects could exist in the game, but you've also got to consider that if you want to use those play effects, you cannot use them in your setup phase. You would have to consider, okay, I'm going to play my center because I have to play a center, and I'm going to purposely choose not to play a debut in order to gain play effects. But in doing that, when you get to your first turn and doing your cheer step, that restricts where your cheer can go, because you can't actually play those debuts or spots until after you have allocated your cheer for that turn. So it would open up some ideas for some really interesting lines of play, increasing the odds and increasing the number of lines of plays that you could do, depending on how greedy you want to be with those play effects, or whether you just want to guarantee that you've got the spot or the debut on your stage to allocate a cheer to it as you need to. I think that this could be quite interesting, and it would add another element of skill to the game. And finally, the last effect that I want to add to the game, and I think could be quite interesting, is what I would call an archive effect. Now, what this does is basically when a holomem is in your archive, you can use the effect. Now, to do this, you would require another zone in order to, once you have used that archive effect, you can't use it again, because otherwise you'd be able to spam that constantly and it would break the game. That's of course. But maybe you could introduce like a removed zone or a graduation zone, whereby when you activate the archive effect, part of that cost is you send the card from your archive to that other zone, whereby that is basically removed from the game. There then could be certain cards whereby you can actually access that zone and put cards back into your archive, potentially, or put it from that new zone back to your hand. There's a lot of extra mechanics that could go into this, and some extra types of effects that could utilize this extra zone. And I don't think it overcomplicates it too much. It's similar to a banished zone in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or the lost zone in Pokemon TCG, or memory from Weishwartz. So it's that kind of like just extra zone, and maybe actually memory could be a good idea, to be fair, as a name. Generally could. So yeah, that idea of sending cards from your archive to another zone to gain an additional effect could be quite interesting. Obviously, really clear examples of this, obviously, looking at Yu-Gi-Oh! And you're looking at Burning Abyss, the archetype, whereby they have effects that you can activate from grave. It's just an example that pops to my head. You could have decks that really run off that mechanic, but in doing so, you get cards into that extra zone, which, you know, either can propagate certain effects on your field. So we've already seen with Myth, where if you've got 10 or more Myth characters in your archive, get extra power on the Ina Buzz. But you could do it where, oh, if you have 5 or more cards in that extra zone, you can only do that. You gain an additional effect. And you could also add an additional rule whereby you can only use one archive effect per turn, just to limit what you can potentially do, and to make it so you don't just get 4 or 5 cards into your archive with archive effects and go, oh, I'm going to activate all 5 of these effects. Maybe you have to add a limit to the archive effect whereby you can only activate one archive effect per turn. There's a lot of potential with this type of effect. And again, it adds such an extra level of skill level to the game, whereby you're not only managing your hand, your stage, your holo power, your cheers, you're also managing this extra archive and the archive, well, the extra zone as well, to like consider how you want to do your gameplay. I think it would add just an extra bit of spice, and it's an effect, a mechanic that again could work really well with the theming of the game. So yeah, I kind of like the idea of this, and the more I've spoken about it on this video, I've come up with a couple of extra ideas, like again making an archive effect once per turn. I literally thought of that on the spot. But that is it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. What do you think to these extra mechanics that could be added to the Hololive OCG. Let me know in the comments below, do you think that any of them are going to be particularly busted? Do you like the theming of it? Do you like the sort of what this could add to the development of the card game? Or do you think it's too much? I want to hear your thoughts. You know, any feedback is welcome, constructive or positive. So please let me know in the comments below what you think to these new effects. But that's it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Again, if you are new here, please consider subscribing to the channel. And if you like this video, please let me know by hitting that like button. Check out my other socials, links in the description, and please consider joining and becoming a member to help support the channel. But apart from that, thank you so much for watching, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one. Bye!